If you have never seen a bald eagle with its mighty 7-foot wingspan soaring over the skies, you might actually be one of a shrinking number of folks as the bald eagle population continues to surge. And there is a law on the books to thank for that. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the Endangered Species Act, which helped save our national symbol. And I visited the National Eagle Center in Wabasha to learn more. The Endangered Species Act turns 50 years old this year, and there is perhaps no better example of the success of the Endangered Species Act than our national symbol, the bald eagle. I'm here at the National Eagle Center in Wabasha, Minnesota to learn more about what the Endangered Species Act has meant for this population, and there's a great example of that right here below me. Here, in the middle of the floor, is a map of eagle nests outside the center here in Wabasha. Look closer, and you will see they are all over the place. Scott Mayhus is the Director of Education at the National Eagle Center, and he says just outside is one of the best places in the whole country to spot this once endangered species.
We have over 50 nesting pairs of bald eagles in a close vicinity of Wabasha. It's some of the highest nesting densities of bald eagles anywhere in the lower 48 states, and it's right here in this part of Minnesota and Wisconsin.
A quick check outside confirms this, as we spotted several dozen just across the Mississippi River roosting in a tree during this interview. But it wasn't always this way.
For the next 261 miles down the river to Rock Island, Illinois, between 1968 and 1972, that entire 261-mile stretch of river only had one nesting pair of bald eagles.
Our national symbol used to be an elusive one, completely missing from many parts of the nation, and that was due to our own actions.
It was right after World War II, we introduced this chemical called DDT. It was an insecticide designed to get rid of bugs. It did an amazing job at doing that. It stopped malaria outbreaks, but unfortunately had an unintended consequence.
DDT eroded the integrity of eggs laid by large birds, quickly destroying eagle populations across the nation.
This bird that we look up to as a nation symbol is a bird that is on the verge of being gone forever.
The bald eagle wasn't the only species facing extinction at the time. The American bison, the American alligator, and many others were in danger. Action was needed, and thus was born the Endangered Species Act.
We must act, and act decisively. It is literally now or never.
The Endangered Species Act, signed by President Richard Nixon on December 28, 1973, charged the federal government with the responsibility of protecting the bald eagle and other species. And while eagle populations have bounced back, this law still works to protect other species across the nation.
Thankfully, in 1972, then, we recognized what was going on. And in 1973, as we're now talking about today, the eagle was put on that endangered species list. And thankfully, in 2007, the eagle was taken off the endangered species list. And what we always have to remember is that thankfully the eagle was off it, and we still want to keep our eye on it. But there's so many other species out there that still deserve our attention and respect that are on the endangered species list that are not our nation symbol. They're not quite as charismatic an eagle. We need to work towards saving them as well.
So next time you look to the sky and see the striking glare of the bald eagle watching over our land, you can be proud of the decades of work it took to make that happen and remind yourself of the work still needed to save many others. And if you want to learn more about bald eagles and endangered species conservation, you can visit the Conservation Hall at the National Eagle Center in Wabasha.